everybody, welcome to today's video. So I just finished an exciting week of making art. I challenged myself to make art for 7 days, and the challenge was to use a different medium or a different style than what I'm used to using. I'm really glad that I did this whole experience because I ended up really loving some of the different mediums that I tried out, and I never would have known that if I hadn't tried them. In my last video, I showed you days 1 through 3 and what I made. And so today's video is going to be projects number 4 through 7. I'm so sorry that it took so long for me to get out this video. It was really challenging editing and everything. I'm still so new to all of this, and I thank you guys for your patience with me as I learn how to run an art business, run a YouTube channel, and all of that. And so thank you. So real quick, let me show you guys what I made on days 1 through 3 in case you missed the last video, but you can definitely go back and watch that if you want to and see me making these projects. Well, my first one was watercolor. I had never painted with watercolor ever before. And so I made this cute little 5x7 bunny card. And then, actually, this was number 1, day 1, I believe. This was collage. So I don't love this one, but this was my attempt at a collage. I cut out papers, glued them on here, and I did some acrylic flowers. So this was another day. And then my number 3 was a abstract painting. So like I'm used to painting abstract backgrounds, but not like completely abstract paintings with no animals or flowers in them. And so that's what this was. And this was so much fun. I loved this one. I'm gonna be making more abstract paintings in the future. I'm sure of it. So let's get into days 4 through 7 and I'll show you what I made the rest of the week. So on day 4, I decided to pull out my brand new gouache and give it a try for the very first time. And I have to say that I enjoyed it so much. The paints were really oily when I first opened it. I think they had settled a bit. So first thing I did was mix them up, and then I sketched out a picture of a puffin. One bird that I have never painted or drawn is a puffin, and it has been on my bucket list for a long time. This little mini painting was practice for a larger canvas painting that I have planned for the future. Unlike the watercolor project, I really loved how opaque the gouache was and how smoothly it went down on the paper. I really loved how the colors blended too. Gouache is definitely going to be one of my new favorite mediums, I'm pretty sure. I also really loved the size of these paintings. I have never painted this small. The smallest that I've painted is an 8x10 canvas, and really working on these tiny pieces of watercolor paper, it really inspired me to make smaller art in the future. And I think that I would really like to paint cards, like postcards or greeting cards. And yeah, so not only did this challenge like help me to get experience with new mediums, but it opened up ideas for new products also, and new types of art that I would like to make and sell in the future. So while I thought this was a fun break from my art business to just have fun, it ended up really being helpful, I think, to give me new ideas for my business. So here I am adding some of the white on top of the gray for the feathers on the stomach and the tail. And that is one thing that I really loved about the gouache, is how the white went on top of everything, and you could see it so brightly. And unlike the watercolors, it was really easy to paint the white on top of other colors. Eyes are usually my favorite part of painting, but I had a little bit of trouble with this one, probably because it was so tiny. Again, I'm not used to working on this small of a scale. I think that if I ever do a canvas painting of a puffin, that I will probably do more of a headshot or like the chest up rather than a full body painting again like this one. I am really happy though, like I said, with how this turned out with the finished product. I just think that puffins are so cute. I've never actually seen one in real life, although I do think that they live in North America, but I've never actually seen one, so I don't know much about them. I don't even know if they actually fly or if they're more like a penguin and just walk around. I guess if you know, let me know down in the comments. I decided to paint the background a bright blue so that he really stands out against the background. And then I decided to give it some of my abstract elements that most of my paintings have, so that I could make it recognizable as my style. I added a little bit of yellow, and then I added my signature circles there, just a few of them. And once again, my tape tore the paper a little bit. I still am in search of a tape that won't rip my paper. A couple of videos back, I showed you guys my art haul where I got this whole pack of Posca pens, and this was my first time using them. I had never actually made a whole piece of art or painting with Posca. I decided first to put just a wash of acrylic for the background because I didn't want to use up an entire marker just making the plain background, and so I did that first. So I hope that wasn't cheating, but I put that just as a base, and I go back later, fill the background in with leaves and stuff. So it was a little bit difficult getting started because none of my pens were activated, and I did not film that whole process, but I first had to go through and activate all of my pens to get them in working order first. But I decided for this painting that I wanted to do mushrooms. I've never painted mushrooms ever before. I do have a sketchbook page that I did about a year ago of some sketches and doodles of a bunch of little mushrooms that I've always thought would make really cute little stickers, but I've never actually tried to make a painting of them. And so I got out my sketchbook and I looked at some of those little sketches that I had made as a reference, and this is what I came up with: 2 cute little mushrooms. And I was a little bit afraid that I was going to use up a lot of my Posca markers, but again, I decided to make this a small scale project, so it was a 5x7 card again. And I don't think that in the end it ended up using much of my acrylic paint and my marker at all. One problem that I did keep running into, which you can't really see or tell very well on the video, but the paper that I was using was just regular watercolor paper, and the watercolors did not work very well with the acrylic pens. The paper kept shredding, and I was ending up with little chunks or crumbs of the watercolor paper in areas where I had colored over too much, almost like it would with just regular markers. And so I'm guessing that there's probably a better paper choice out there for acrylic marker, but that made it very difficult to put many layers at all on my painting. I did, as you can see, put the pink on top of the red for highlights, and then I had to go back and put the white on top of the pink, and so I was able to get a few layers in there. I also went back and put like the darker red for the shadows, and yeah, I was able to get a few layers, but I wouldn't want to put too many layers on this paper because it just was not working very well. For the background, I decided that I didn't want just a plain green. I wanted it to be completely full of plants, grass, and I ended up putting these great big pieces of, I don't even know what kind of plant they are, but I saw a picture of them and I thought that it looked really cute. So I put a bunch of grass and all these plant pieces, and then I decided to put little yellow flowers all over. I didn't really have a plan at all. I just had fun and just went with it and just kept adding plants and grass and flowers. For a minute, I was worried that it was going to look too busy and that the mushrooms wouldn't stand out very well, but that was not the case. The end result I loved, and everything just seemed to work. I love my Posca pens for adding tiny details to my larger paintings and for signing my name to my paintings, but I don't think that I'm going to be making a whole lot of future paintings using only Posca pens. I think I still prefer using my paintbrushes, but I was really happy with the end result and how my little mushroom painting turned out. For this next project, I decided to really think outside of the box. I pulled out my laptop and decided that I was going to try to make some sort of digital art. I am not a digital artist. I am 100% a traditional artist, but I don't even have the tools to make digital art. So I decided to open up Canva and make a wallpaper for my phone. So this is something that I've never done before. So this was a new to me art project. So this one here is just really short and sweet. I got a purple plain background and I just found some stickers on there and some little flowers, and I arranged them until I was happy with the design, and I think it turned out pretty cute. So I worked on this for probably about an hour, and this was the end result. For my final art project, I did something completely different. I decided to paint and put together a wooden paintbrush holder for my new little art studio space. This paintbrush holder was from Amazon, and it came just plain wooden pieces, and that's really what I wanted because I wanted one that I could paint and make it my own, and I wanted to make it colors that represent me and my business and my style. So I decided to go with pink and purple and teal because those are a few of the colors that really are in a lot of my artwork and that I feel like best represent me as an artist. And so I painted all of these pieces with just cheap craft paint, and that was good enough for this project. I didn't want to use my expensive paints on this. But as far as the part of this challenge that is a new to me medium or style, I contemplated whether or not this really counted, but in the end I decided it did, because I have never really put together something like this before from scratch, just out of wood pieces. Usually I buy things that are already built or put together, so I was really proud of myself actually for putting it all together. And it ended up being a little bit difficult because some of the holes that were supposed to be pre-drilled were not there. So I had to make the holes myself. So that was a little bit extra work. This little paintbrush holder ended up being the perfect addition to my new desk. And it holds a ton of paintbrushes, way more paintbrushes than what I own. So it looks like I'm gonna need to go paintbrush shopping soon, and I'm not complaining about that. Looking back over all 7 of these projects that I did, I have 0 regrets for doing this challenge. It really helped me to focus and get my creative energy flowing and motivate me to get back to my regular artwork and working on my business. Thank you guys for watching. I think this week was probably the most fun that I have ever had making a YouTube video. So thank you for following along on my journey, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.